For me, it is a joy to be able to have this opportunity of speaking to you in spite of my voice in this way and at this time. A few days ago, perhaps only 2 or 3, one of our world leaders or politicians, most well known, warned us that we were on the brink of a third world war. I was born towards the end of the First World War and had my early childhood in the Second World War, and then went through what was the Cold War afterwards, where we tried to avoid a war again. So that message of the politician, you know, I'm not going to mention his name, was very important for me. When we look at the world situation, and we look at it here for us in Austria, in Central Europe, in the countries around us, we realize that it is a very dangerous time. We are in the same situation that we were at the time of the Second World War. We rejected people who didn't share our views on religion, politics, money, or just about anything else. We had criticism and rejection of people all around us. We hadn't really learned who we were, and the power we had not. And now we're in that situation again. So, let's pull ourselves together and discover what is really happening. When we broke away from the Second World War, many people said we have to get rid of our prejudices, our rejections, our criticisms, and learn to live together. Some of us met at that time, and we began to form a satsang, a spontaneous coming together of those who were seeking the same things in life. For a few years, we continued as a spontaneous coming together, a satsang, but then after about 9 years, I think unfortunately, but it was perhaps has both sides, we became an official Verein or organization, and therefore we had rules and regulations and responsibilities. Legal responsibilities, particularly for property. Since then, we have gone on walking together in different parts of the world as a satsang, as a legal orientation called the International Satsang Verein. Now we're looking again at the world around us and realizing there is need for us to look again at why we have come together, to share life's journey on an open road where we have to accept each thing as it comes. We cannot plan it and say this will happen because we want it to happen. We're in a learning situation. And these are throwaway things. You know, we like to deal with only the constraints we have in our area and our lives, where in actual fact, we must look wider. The whole of our family, the human family on this small planet Earth, is in danger of what that politician warned us of: a world war, or destruction, or collapsing completely as a human race. And if we've heard that, then we have the responsibility to respond. I also hope the desire to respond. And so, those of us who have been together in the satsang, and those of you who've turned on this message for the first time or quite by accident, will find that there is a personal message for you in it, and will come out walking on life's open road with us. We have to walk on the open road and keep in touch with each other, share the difficulties, the questions, but get going. The prejudices, the rejections, the pride that we have, all that has to go, and fairly soon, if we're going to go on. So, welcome to the former satsang, or the present satsang members. Where are you? Wherever you are all over the world. Those who have not been satsang members, but have met us in different ways, in spiritual practice, and also in a house, which became a sort of symbolic place for members of the satsang in whichever country they were. Whether they were in Austria, here, we had a house we called De Quelle, the source. Mexico also had a house that they went to. And America used another group's house regularly every year. And so that is how we've gone on for some years. Now, we're back on the road again. It's necessary to keep contact with each other. It's necessary to continue the work that we undertook for our own spiritual growth in those houses, in the source. But it's also necessary to realize the road from ahead of us is an open road. No? We don't know yet what will be demanded of us day by day, except to respond and to keep going. And to put down our rising pride that I and we and this country and this tradition have the answers and the power, because we don't. And we have to learn that very fast. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We're going to carry on keeping in contact with each other, but instead of going to that special place where we had time and silence and all the conveniences that we needed for our spiritual practice, whatever it was, from whichever tradition it came, to get ourselves aware and to have pride in the fact that we knew how to be silent and how to chant Om or whatever with our practices. Now we're out on the road, but there is no road except to get going. Each day to go forward with the challenges of that day. But also we need each other. We need to contact with each other. And so we're suggesting now that where people are geographically in touch, can be in touch with each other, that they live near enough to meet, say once a month, that we try that. Here, Sister Giti and I have come to Vienna. It would not have been our choice to be in a large city, capital city in Europe, but that's where we are. And so the people around us must be able to meet us and meet with us and we with them here in Vienna. So we found a room which we're trying to convert into a meeting room, and we're planning to meet at least once a month. And the choice at the moment is Saturday morning, which is shopping day for any woman who has a job to do and a family at home, and her husband perhaps at home on a Saturday morning from his work. They've chosen that time to try and meet. Very different to the satsang meeting in Dikwele, as we've known it so far. So this is what we're beginning to explore. There are no rules or regulations. We're just going to try here. But we would like to suggest to all of you that you do find some way and time and means to meet the people who have the same goals, the same ideas, the same experiences, sometime, perhaps once a month, perhaps more often, to talk about what? Not spiritual practices of the past, but the challenges of the day. With clear minds, minds cleared of prejudice. That is not easy. Ready to listen to what you hear, the one who brought all this into existence. Speak within us, speak in everything around us. And I'm not going to speak any longer because we don't know yet. We're beginning. We're beginning, 4 or 5 of us here, in this part of Vienna, capital city in Central Europe. But the satsang had its symbolic meeting places for its yoga practices or whatever in every country. Originally we had 3 in Australia, right down the coast with all the main capitals, in Perth and Sydney and so on. We also were in Africa, in India, not really in India. I knew India. India has too much of its own tradition to work with. But we in Europe, in places in Europe and in America. So those are the foundations of the new journey. The journey was, the satsang members came together for spiritual practice, for the quiet and the companionship. Our new members will come together, I would say, for confrontation. I don't mean that. Not to confront each other, but to compare, to confirm, to listen to what life's journey means to each one at this moment. Not to say, oh, what we're doing is the best. Just to listen and hear the mystery within you speak. And if I go on speaking, I'll take away the journey. Because we don't know, if we're going on an unknown journey, we're taking one step at a time. We can't know what the 3rd step will be. We have to take the first. And then let's see what happens. Now you'll get something more written to talk about, but you could meet perhaps somebody you know who has listened to this and get their opinion. Well, okay, what impression did you get of that? What did it say to you? What did it say to you? Here is what it says to me. And when should we take the next step on the open road and see where life is leading us? I'm going to keep in contact. Please keep in contact with each other. And those of you who have been satsang members or friends who joined us in Dikwele or retreats or things over the last years, keep in touch also. We're not trying to label this any particular movement, but it's just keeping in contact, listening, being open, being willing to share, and see how far we've got on the open road by the next time we meet. Not very clear and straightforward, is it? That's the newness. Don't expect everything to be clear before it begins. Just begin. Get your feet out, take the first steps. Let us know if we don't just bump into you by accident on the way. Let us know what you found, what you're thinking, where you're going for your next step. You know, I can't end this without saying a huge thank you to Dieter Platzer for his immense patience as well as his technical skill. It's not his profession that he's put into this, you know, without any satisfactory outcome. And as I've already mentioned, Giti, whom so many of you know, is here, but keeping off the screen for the moment. Just get in touch. Just get in touch. Those people who've contacted us here, who are within reach of where we are in Vienna, we'll be in touch with you too. But there'll be other places. There's these meeting places, coming together for an hour on a Saturday morning sometime, or some other time, which is available, which is an ordinary working day in the life of any of us. Having that as a goal. So, we'll turn it off and get going. Have a good journey until we meet again. Don't expect too much. Just rejoice in what you find. That's good. And thank you for being here.